So anyway, there's so much to be done, and so much. When people say, well, the machines do all the dirty work, what will people do? Children will travel, scuba diving, sailing boats, and studying, and going to school free of charge, and have craft shops, machine shops, to make anything you want to make. When you submit your stuff to the government computers, it'll say that we don't have enough information to make a decision, but you can go to this lab and have it tested. Suppose you have good ideas, social ideas, but you're a hunchback, and you lisp when you speak. People don't think you're smart. Normal people are very dangerous. So we take ideas from people, and we have the best voices in the country read the project. They vote on it. There's a little guy in a wheelchair that can't move. You understand? Because you don't have objective viewing. You view the personality speaking. So there's so many things to do. You know, unfortunately, we will send people trained in the Venus Project to Africa to talk to Afro-Americans or Africans because they don't like Whitey. What the hell is he doing there? You know what I mean? Whitey comes to make our life better. What bullshit. You know? So we will have Arabs address the Arab nations. There are many Arabs that come here that we can talk to that already learned about it. We have Frenchmen that are writing about it. So that's the best way to go at it. Don't send a blonde area where all the girls have very black hair. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. People look at you and they judge what you say by their past experiences. You can't do that. So you're dealing with sick people, and our job is social therapy, not reason. I want to emphasize that, not reason. I brought a Japanese kid home one day. How many know this? And my mother said, loud enough, I don't want that kind around. And he said, all right, so long, Jacque. And I try to reason with my mother. He says, let us sit and reason together in good books. Use science and reason. It didn't work at all. So my mother rejected him, and I said, if I can't change my mother, how am I going to change the world? So I said to my mother, I was swimming in the East River. This is not true. And Masato worked on a boat, and I was drowning because there's a high wall. I couldn't get ashore, and he threw a lifesaver to me. She said, my God, you mean he saved your life? I said, yeah. She said, oh, I was so rude to him. I said, so please, ask him to come for dinner. I want to beg him to forgive me. So I said, I don't know if he'll do that. She said, please, Jacque, I have to read you it. I wanted her to do that. So I said, Masato, when you come in the door, she's going to hug you and kiss you and maybe even be weeping about how she treated you. I said, expect that. So she did. She grabbed him, but at dinner she's really talking to him, really. So I walked out and came back about 20 minutes or so later when Masato went to the washroom. I don't know how long it's been, but anyway, I said to my mother, what do you think? She said, you know, he's just like you and I. So I said, yeah, but he's a member of the Yellow Race. So I went like that. She says, you shouldn't do that. He saved your life. I said, but he's still a member of the Yellow Race. And she's arguing with me. The reason I did that is to get her to think of all the other arguments. And she did. And a month later, she liked Masato. Really did. Always put her arm around him and called him son. That's really liking him. And me at the same time. So...
Did she ever find out that your story?
Yes. Once that was established, I said, Mother, he never saved my life. She said, you little devil, I would have never opened the door. But she was glad I did that. But, you know, you can only do so much. But reason doesn't work on some people. You have to always tell them the truth. Yes. I always told my mother exactly what I did. But I could not reason with her. Her brain shut down on that. You know, so I found out the hard way. I used reason. And in all the scientific books on language, it says, be honest, explain things as it truly is. It doesn't work that way. The real world is very different. I used to know a gangster that wanted to get laid a lot, And Woolworths 5 and Dime had engagement rings that sold for 10 cents a piece. They looked like the expensive rings. And we bought a whole batch, and we'd give it to a girl, get laid, and you shouldn't have done that. You know? And anyway, they were impressed. They felt he really loved her. He really didn't. He just wanted to get laid. He used devices like that. And then I met another guy that worked with Al Capone. And he came to see me because he had a problem. I said, well, what's your problem? If you don't tell me what it is, I can't help you. He says, I have 2 Rolls Royces, and I'd like to drive them through Boogie Town, meaning black environment, and watch all those kids look at my Rolls Royce as I drove around slowly. I go around the block several times. It makes me feel good. So why do I do that? I said, because when you were a kid, you were looking at a guy driving a fancy car, and he got so much esteem from the people looking at him, he wanted to feel that. I said, you're that same asshole. I said that to him. He said, nobody ever called me that. I said, well, I'm telling you what you are. You throw big parties on your yacht, you have a lot of people come, a lot of girls, a lot of sex. They're not your friends. They're people taking advantage of your economic situation. He said, nobody ever said that to me. Well, I'm saying it to you. So I said, that's why you drive your car around, that's why you throw the parties, because you have no self-sufficiency. He says, yeah, what can I do about it? I said, you have to read. I gave him certain books. Then he came back 2 months later. He says, I can't talk to my friends anymore. I said, that's part of the problem. The more you learn about this system, the more distant you become from people. That's why I ask you to talk to people, break them in. If you don't do that, you'll just drift away and you do nothing useful.
I've noticed that
And
a
if
lot.
the system you use doesn't work, change it, come at it another way. That's what I did with my mother and other people. And when I spoke at Columbia University in New York, one of the professors got up and he said, would you use profanity if your mother were here? I use profanity, obviously. So I said, Mother, will you stand up? That took care of that. So try to fortify your answers to these questions, you know. Okay, guys. Let's go to work. We work all the time. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, no vacation. We work because the thing is going downhill, and I'm afraid of the future human race. So we can't take time out to hope it'll all work out by itself. It won't. And only see it a form of fascism, an American brand. They're trying to install it now. Fascism means severe control and rigidity and privatization of everything. So I hope there's nobody that's angry here for anything I said. Anybody, did you learn anything today?
So much.
You raised your hand?
Pearls of wisdom.
Okay. As long as you got something useful. Yes. Okay.